Hello, this is Professor Neil Hamilton from the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with another episode in our series, Law for Landowners, 10 Things You Should Know. Today the topic is 10 things landowners should know about improving soil health. In recent years, a great deal of attention has been focused on the subject of soil health, which goes beyond the issue of just soil erosion or measuring how much soil we have, but instead looking at the actual quality of the soil. Things like the organic matter or the carbon content, the water infiltration rate, and the actual structure of the soil that contributes so much to plant health and fertility. So the topic of our video today is 10 things that landowners should think about when it comes to the new subject of soil health. So the first step is recognizing the importance of soil health and what it means. The idea of soil health broadens our understanding of soil beyond just simple issues of soil erosion and soil conservation to actually looking at what it is that makes the soil productive and what it is that may be contributing to losses in fertility and soil performance. Thinking about soil health adds many new dimensions to managing the land. The second idea is to understand what are the components that contribute to soil health. Soil health is made up of many things. For example, the organic matter in the soil or the carbon content, the water infiltration rate and the water holding capacity of the soil, and the actual soil structure of the components that make up soil. These are factors that go into soil health, as well as many other aspects of the soil structure that deals with the availability of nutrients and the ability of the soil to promote and support plant growth. A third idea to keep in mind is measuring the health of your own soil. If we were going to think about soil health, it also helps for us to understand what the current health of our soil is. There are a number of tests that landowners can do to get some idea of the baseline of where you are with your soil health. By testing for carbon content and water infiltration rate, you'll be able to determine where it is that you may have issues and what it is you might be able to do to try to work on improving the health of your soil. So that brings us to a fourth idea. Understanding what may be negatively impacting the health of your soil. Once you've established some type of baseline in terms of where you are with your soil health, you can think about, well, what are the factors that may be negatively impacting it? For example, whether it's the lack of plant diversity, or the fact that there are not many plants growing for most of the year, or whether it's the issue of compaction that may be caused by the number of field trips. Once you've thought about your soil health and identified where you are, you can potentially identify what may be negatively impacting it. Well, this brings us really to a fifth point of thinking about soil health, and that is, what are the strategies or the practices that may be available to improve soil health? Things that will increase the carbon content, for example, being able to grow cover crops and to plow them back into the soil, being able to use animal manure as a source of fertilizer. The things that you know that can add carbon or humus back to the soil can help improve the soil quality. There are a number of tillage practices that can relate to soil health. Conservation tillage in the form of no-till or reduced tillage can help maintain the structure of the soil components. Thinking about the sources of fertilizer and how those may be affecting soil microbial action can be another important component. The key is recognizing that there are many different activities that can help feed the soil and in doing so help improve soil health. A sixth idea to consider is the possibility of integrating livestock into your operation. Certainly generations ago, almost every farm in the state had livestock in some form. And livestock helped improve soil health in a number of ways. One, you needed forage or pasture ground, so you had a diversity of crops and uses for different fields. You also had soil fertility that was being added by the animal manure, and the hoof activity and the grazing activity of the animals was also contributing to soil microbial health. If you don't have livestock now, you could consider, is there an opportunity to add it, or it may be as simple as acquiring livestock manure from a neighboring operation, or if you're thinking about planting cover crops, perhaps working with a neighbor who has livestock to graze those cover crops so that you're able to take advantage of them as well as advantage of having livestock on the land. A seventh component of soil health is the idea of diversifying your crops. Many people feel that our two-crop rotation of corn and soybeans may be contributing to a decline in soil health. Things that can help increase crop diversity, such as adding small grains or cover crops, or perhaps even new crops like the opportunity with hemp that may be available after the 2018 Farm Bill, are also things that people can consider that may contribute to improving soil health by changing the nature of the plant growth and increasing the times of the year in which plants are utilizing the soil and adding material back to it. An eighth idea to consider is adding soil health to your conservation plan. Landowners who are concerned about the quality of their land and conservation have a conservation plan. This plan probably also includes a nutrient management plan that deals with how they obtain crop nutrients. But you could also consider adding a soil health component to the plan, identifying where your soil health is, thinking about what your goals may be for trying to increase it or improve it, and including those into the plan of how you operate and manage your farm. Well, this brings us to a ninth point, and that concerns who it is that may be farming your land. If you own land but don't farm it yourself, it means you either have a tenant or may be working with a farm manager to find a tenant who actually makes the decisions about how the land is cared for. Well, if you're concerned about soil health, it's important to have a conversation with the tenant and with the farm manager and others about what you would like to see done to improve soil health. This is an issue that needs to be addressed by everyone who may be making decisions for how the land is managed. Well, a 10th and final point to keep in mind is the need to stay on top of this developing subject and stay attuned to new information. Soil health is a relatively recent focus in the discussion about soil conservation policy. As a result, there's a lot of research and new information that's coming out as more people work on soil health and identify how it is that it can be impacted, and particularly how it can be improved. By staying on top of the literature and reading what is happening on the issue of soil health, you can include these ideas into the decisions that you make for your land. So these are 10 ideas for how you can work to improve the soil health on your property. This has been Professor Neil Hamilton from the Drake University Agricultural Law Center with this edition of 10 Things You Should Know.